Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to join Ryan with his fantastic film, My Brother and Me. Let's take a look at the clip.
This feels like stealing.
T, we're not stealing. He doesn't pay child support. And you obviously need that new bike for your date, right?
When are you gonna come riding with me?
Yeah, whenever. I'm down to go riding with you whenever, yeah.
Everything's gonna be all right. He's not even gonna know it was us. So let's go, because we don't have time.
Ryan, welcome to New Filmmakers LA. Thank you for having me. Welcome to the family. This is it now. It's together forever.
Yes.
Your film was absolutely amazing. I am so glad you brought it to us and got such a rapt applause at the festival last night. For those that haven't seen My Brother and Me, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so My Brother and Me is a story about two brothers who try and rob their distant father of their overdue child support money. It's not a comedy. Sometimes I'll explain it in that log line-ish way, and I always get a chuckle here and there. I'm like, no, it's a drama. It's very personal, and but yeah, it has been a very therapeutic experience because it's loosely based on my family and my relationship with my brother and our dad and my mom, like the whole shebang. So.
It really was a glowing story. I completely fell in love with these two brothers. I was like, they are so amazing, so adorable, and just all the dynamics of family dynamics was so wonderfully like articulated. Now again, thank you. It's always hard when sharing a little bit of kind of relates to your own personal experience. But where did these characters unfold come about? Where did this experience? What was that kind of moment where you're like, I want to turn this idea into a film?
Yeah, so I went to Sundance in 2023, and I went there like on a whim. I guess I asked for it for Christmas. Like my family kind of pitched in, which is ironic because then after I left, I wrote a story about them. But I went there and I saw so many films, so many short films, so many features, and I just felt so inspired. And I had never taken the chance on myself to write a story, to write a story that's personal, or to really sink my teeth into a short film that I could feel really proud of. And so I left Sundance and I was like, let me just do this. Let me just go for it. And I had met a few people who then became my producers, and one of them became my composer, and things just started to align. Then I felt like, okay, nothing is going to stop me. Nothing is going to stop us from making this. And so, yeah, Sundance was really that thing, because I just imagined myself there showing the film, or just, at a festival like that.
You manifested it.
I did. Yeah. It felt so strange once the pieces started to align, and it's been an amazing journey so far, especially coming from Sundance to now.
This is really was a beautiful story. It was one of those memories that that you have in childhood that you would remember forever, right? This moment in time between and how the relationship between these two brothers got stronger through their own traumatic experiences. I love your leads. I just thought they're great. How they're so talented. I mean, the whole cast is very talented.
Yeah, yes, of course.
But they just led this brotherly story in a way that I was like, I'm crying just because I see the love,
Yeah.
How did you go about bringing this incredible cast together?
It's so interesting because as I was talking about Sundance, I remembered that there was a film that that screened at Sundance. It was called Theater Camp. And it was about, these theater guidance counselors trying to save the camp. And our lead actor was in it, but he was in the background. He had a few lines. He was a very flamboyant and theatrical kid, dancing and singing. And I just remember sitting in that theater and looking at him and remembering myself, because I was that flamboyant black kid with an afro. That was me. And I never, I guess, saw myself on screen in that kind of way. And so I kept his face and I kept his name kind of in my back pocket, just said manifesting that I could work with them one day. And yeah, so once we went through crowdfunding, right? And that was a mission all itself. But once we got close to the end, my producer was like, you need to cast. And I was like, you know what? If we've gotten this far with just manifestation powers, like, I'm just going to go for it. So I cold emailed his manager, Alex, and within a day we got response. And then within a few days, I got a Zoom call. And then it just felt surreal that we were able to cast that actor that I really wanted and go off of that. And then we casted around him. And then we met Zechariah, who plays in the lead.
Yeah.
And I could just feel it. And all of these auditions were over Zoom. All of our rehearsals were over Zoom. Wow. So none of our actors had ever met in person yet. Wow. And so once we got to set, they all just kind of gelled so well together. And it's been a dream to work with Alex and Zachariah, and as well as all of the other actors. And you know, the two kids, Alex and Riley, he plays Xavier. Xavier's from Texas, or Riley's from Texas, and Alex is from the Bronx. So they had to fly here to shoot the film, and it's just been a dream to work with all of these people. I'm like, yeah. It's so weird, like casting my family. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely, the characters are separate from me. Like, I'm able to change them enough where it's not like I'm watching myself.
Yeah,
but there's enough of me and enough of my family in those characters to really feel weird about casting. And we didn't have a casting director, so it was really just me fixating on what I liked about each actor and performances. But overall, I'm so glad of who we kind of gathered for the cast.
And there's so many layers and parts to this story. Firstly, just trauma that's not been dealt with, but and I think you really got this beautiful dynamic that was so important. I think on so many levels to see, this younger character with this beautiful persona that we don't often see this character on our screens, right? And then this older brother who has clearly been taught a certain way to be, and has all those things that he needs to be able to open up to his vulnerability. And the chi beach the brothers was so epic and beautiful. It was like getting chills watching it and watching their story unfold with the families, how they came to lean on each other. Okay, I'm going too deep in this, but
no, I love it.
But just how, what did you, like, in that dynamic of brotherhood and these brothers coming together, different ages, different feelings, different perspectives, what did you kind of want to nurture with those two characters?
I think that, because I base it a lot on myself and my own relationship with my brother, we have a 7-year age gap.
Yeah.
So I think throughout the years of growing up, we've been able to teach each other things.
Yeah.
And so when I was younger, I kind of was very oblivious to his emotions and his feelings. And he's always been an open book, but I think there's certain things that a lot of us as human beings, some of them don't like to get into because it makes us feel so emotional. And so I wanted to showcase masculinity in a certain way where sometimes it is that person in your family or you're a sibling or whatever that is the only person who really opens you up because they finally see you, and they don't say it in a lot of words, but towards the end of the film he says, Malik is crying and he's like, it's you and me. And I think that moment was kind of improvised, but something along those lines was in the script. And so our Alex, our actor, just kind of, he felt those emotions, and I thought it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
That it felt, we had a lot of conversations, me and Alex, about my relationship with my brother and his relationship with his brother. Because Alex is, at the time, he was about 14. Now he's like sprouting into like this, like he looks like he's my age. He's so much taller. But he had a similar relationship with his brother, not so much in the context of film, but in being open and vulnerable with each other.
Yeah.
And so he brought a level of vulnerability that I don't know, that I wasn't really like trying to pull out. It was a communication we had as a director and actor. And that was another beautiful thing, was there were sometimes I would give a direction and these actors would do it tenfold. And I think that just fueled me as a director.
Yeah.
And this is like technically my first film. So, and I worked on a bunch of projects before, and I knew that the first one that I really sunk my teeth into, I needed to put my all into it and put my whole heart into it, and like hopefully did that.
You really did that. I mean, again, it's like, I think it could be a study around this now, because there's so much context to it. I mean, even just from the father's perspective, you really show generational trauma.
Exactly.
And what was so obvious in the father's character was just that, damn, he was only just doing what he's been taught, and he's passing that through. And you can clearly see that there's just not been a breakdown for him to really open up himself. So you couldn't even blame him to the whole context, because you could just only imagine what he was told himself, right? It's the generation. And then, of course, like in this context, the elder brother got this kind of hardcore, like, come down.
Yeah.
And the younger one had probably a slightly different experience being 7 years apart. So you just really showcase that really well through all the dynamics. And for you personally, like, I mean, I think that this has got a real sense of morality to it, on multiple levels. And I'm just curious, where do you want your kind of audience to kind of experience on the film?
I mean, from the jump, I knew I wanted this to feel vulnerable. I wanted the audience to really take away that it's okay to open up about your personal trials and tribulations. And sometimes it only is with someone who's in your family, or it's a close friend, or whatever it may be. But I think vulnerability is like, it's almost like a superpower.
Yeah.
And I also knew that when we started to score the film, that the score needed to feel epic yet intimate.
So good.
Yeah. And that's the phrase I told my composer of, like, epic, but I want it to feel larger than life, but at the same time so emotional and so just so interesting in the way that we can move throughout sound. And one of my favorite parts, and I talked to my composer about this the other day, and he loves, is that the dinner scene has no score, has no sound. And so we talked about that for a long time, of how we kind of exclude it, because then it's a score in itself, right?
It is.
And the silence is almost making you lean in.
Oh, the silence is painful.
Yeah. But I think another part of that scene is which is great, is the step mom, and she kind of brings a sense of humor to the situation.
For a balance,
That kind of breaks it off.
Yeah.
Breaks off the tension.
Yeah.
And I think in my personal life, I do that. Sometimes there's tense situations and I can't help but try and diffuse it. I don't really like strats. So
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to share what one of my friends said at the festival yesterday to me, and actually it was a conversation that was in the panel of the program as well, which is a friend of mine came, was like, it was so nice to see the perspective of a young Black American and their trauma, and how vulnerability is a power, but having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so great that you made a film that was really centered around these brothers and that story, and that, vulnerability can be your power.
Absolutely.
And I think that was something that was really highlighted in there, is that, there's so much we can learn from each other when we're able to, and the ability to able to share. I'm just curious, like, for you personally, like, was in the hope of what you want your audience to sort of take from it, I think you opened up a lot of people's minds to be like, oh my goodness, they go, if I can call my brother, or if I can do that, what was your feelings across that?
I mean, absolutely. That is really the feeling I want. Yeah. That's definitely that feeling that you can. I've done all of those films where you watch something and you're like, oh, I need to talk to my so-and-so, my mom, my dad, whatever it is, that story brought something out in you. And hearing the different pieces of reviews or feedback from other people that are in these audiences watching it, and what they take away, whether it is the score or it's just the emotional beats or the allyship between the brothers. Like, I don't ever see that. I don't ever see, there are stories about siblings or family members that accept their younger siblings or children who are queer on in the LGBTQ community. But I think I wanted to highlight that feeling of just like, even from the jump, right? The brother's like, okay, well, how do we get you in on this date with this boy? Like, no second guessing it, right? And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of not us kind of leaning into, ooh, we don't know what we're doing with these queer kids. Like, no, because there's so many queer people in the world.
Yeah.
That especially with children, just follow their lead. Just trust and believe what they're expressing to you.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to make everyone in the family or everyone in the situation happier.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. That scene was really heart-wrenching to me. And I was like, when I was like, if like wasn't working, I was like, you know what, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. And it's like the childhood that I hope for many queer kids and young people. You certainly did a fantastic job with that. And by the way, that person who came wanted me to say, after a few years, he's gonna call his brother up.
Oh, I love that.
Station from watching your film. So, you know,
That's
yeah,
that means a lot, and that really does mean.
No, I started crying at her. I was like, oh my god, okay, this is what the power of film. So Ryan, that's your first. I know, right? That's the. Where are you gonna make us cry next? I mean,
The feature. You're gonna do the feature version? Yeah. So initially when I wrote this, I there was a longer version of it that I had like outlined, and I realized that I needed to tell a shorter version of it just to also get my feet wet, right? Like as a writer director and really going for it. I needed to do a smaller condensed version, which was also really hard because I was like, how do I tell everything I want to say?
yeah.
But yeah, there's a feature version that I'm writing, and it's a little hard because again, like this is very personal. So I'm trying not to pull too many personal things into it, but also make it feel like it's a story that only I can tell.
Yeah.
And so there's so many layers to it that I'm really excited to tell a longer version of, which hopefully comes in the near future.
That's amazing. I mean, I wasn't done with these characters yet, so I'm glad that they're coming to life.
Thank you.
But well done, Ryan. We're so proud of you. Thank you for my brother and me, and thank you for all of the goodness that you brought. I'm looking forward to seeing the future version. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Right.